Today is the launch for a brand new collection, and this is Watercolor Wildflowers and so many pretty things. And Debbie has done 4 projects with it, and this is one. We'll get in super close so you can really see how beautiful that chipboard and those papers are. So please, won't you come play with us? Well, before we get into the projects, let me just show you what the product is. So I'm going to slip these aside. And we'll start with the 12 by 12 because that's always our starting point. And this has 12 sheets. They are all double-sided. I'll show them each to you in just a moment. And there are also 54 cutouts included. And also, because this is hot off the press, there are a scrapbook page and a card idea on the back, but I have that to show you. So why don't I just get started with showing you that? So here is one of the 12 by 12 sheets. Debbie has matted her photos both on solid and more pattern cardstock. This is one of the big cutouts, and isn't that just darling? She's also added some of the cutting dies, flowers and leaves going around the photos just to add some extra dimension. And as most people know, out of every 12 by 12 sheet, you can get 4 cards, and here is one that she did. Again, using a cutout from the papers, the solids, and the patterns. So let me just show you what those solids are. And here is the first one, as you can see in the package. And there is the back of it. So a ghosted back image on the front, they're just a little more vibrant, and that gold border around it is just lovely. This is the next one. Now, when Debbie made her scrapbook page, she turned it like this, and that works too. There's the back side of it. Again, some ghosted leaves at the bottom, and then all over petals on the background. Isn't that pretty? Now, for scrapbookers, obviously you're going to do your photos right there. But for card makers, can you see how that would be 4 cards beautifully done? There's the back with some gentle stripes. Here's our next one. Isn't that fun? Now, again, scrapbookers, you're going to do your photos in the middle, but card makers, you can see those quadrants, and you probably would turn this one maybe this way to do those cards. Let me flip it over, and you can see the really pretty background. Now, these are some of the cutouts. There are 2 borders as well as these 6 cutouts. And on the back, you have a plaid. And then these are the other cutouts. Most of them have greetings, but some just have the art, and then you can overlap them, you can stamp on them, you can do dazzles, whatever you like, and that's on the back side. So that is our 12 by 12, and as I said, it also has 54 cutouts. The 6 by 6 is the same ideas, the same illustrations, but you're going to get 4 of each sheet, and you're going to get double the amount of cutouts, so 108. 54, 108. That's how that works. For the solids, let me just show you. It's just so nice. Now, I have so many people tell me they love getting the solids because it's going to match. They don't have to search for it. And here are the colors. And again, you're going to get 12 by 12. Pink on this side, green on this side. We've got an orange. A lot of colors in this, and then a lighter orange, a blue, with a lighter blue on the back. We have kind of a gold, and on the back, yellow. And then we have another green, nice to have that with those leaves, and a lighter green, and a purple, and an orchid on the back of it. You're going to get 2 sheets of all of that. I think Hot Off the Press is the only one that does 2 colors on each of the sheets of solid, and that just gives you, twice as much variety. Now, there's also die cuts, and there are 31 in here. And just like those cutouts that we saw, they all have the art, but some of them, in fact, most of them, have greetings also. Very fun that you can layer them, and they're just going to pop right out. You see how that's lifting up just like that. Also, as I said, with all of the packaging from Hot Off the Press, there are 2 card ideas, so that's always nice. Now, we also have chipboard, and this chipboard has just a lot of art on it. It's a 6 by 6 piece. There are 10 pieces, and let me show you one of the projects. In fact, this is on the back of the package. We'll get in just a bit closer. And look how beautiful they are. Remember, that's that light border of leaves and that all over border, all over pattern of leaves, but isn't that pretty? I especially love this, how that's just the chipboard and then some velvet fawn ink pads on the edge. Gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous, here we have our cutting dies, and there are 23 puppies in this package. Well, no puppies. There's flowers, there's leaves. I especially love the curving of the sprays of leaves, and the flowers can be built up. In fact, here is an example, and it's the card, card that's on the back of the package. And again, we can see how these just can layer and do just such a pretty job of making a beautiful statement. And we do have some butterflies in here too. So all of that works nicely. So this is the combination of products in the Watercolor Wildflowers. But let's get into Debbie's projects. And here is the first one. Now this is a card I've not seen before, and I think it's really fun. It's going to open, looks like a gatefold, which it is right there. But then when you open it up, it goes like that. So very fun. Very, very neat. And you can see that this card was made using the solid cardstock. So let me show you how she did that, because I have a cutout piece for you. And there you're going to take the piece of cardstock, the solid cardstock, and measure 12 inches, which of course the sheet is, by 6.5. Then moving from the left side, you're going to do some scoring. So at 2 inches, at 4 inches, at 8 inches, and at 10 inches. Now that's going to leave the center part flat and larger, and that's the inside of your card. So that's going to work out quite nicely. And you're going to fold these score lines in a mountain fold on the outside, both of them, and then a valley fold on the inside. And you can see how that's just going to collapse down like so. Now, a bone folder would be very handy to press those down. But until I get that done, there's another thing that you're going to cut, and it's going to be 2 of these. Now, these are 8 inches by 1 1/4 inches. This time, I'm starting on the right-hand side. We're going to score at 2 inches and at 4 inches. And you're going to cut 2 pieces of these. And the way that this is going to work is this part is going to get, just the end of it is going to get glued right here. And the 2-inch part is going to get glued into the center, just like that. Now the other piece, well, it's going to go the opposite. So just the end of it is going to get glued up here, and the other side is going to get glued right there. So you can see how that's going to work. And let me just bring the card back as a better illustration. So you see how that end piece of the large section is glued to the card front, and then that 2-inch piece is glued on the inside at the opposite ends, just like that. Very pretty. And what she used was the gold, the yellow and gold sheet to make her card. So you can see how it is gold on the inside, but light yellow on the back. And that's the sheet that she used. Very clever woman. Now, to decorate her card, this I found fascinating because she used not the front side with the more bold images, she used the back side. And let's see. You can see that this is the area that she used to cut here. So what you'll do is you're just gluing this section, that little panel right here. And then over here, you're going to take another section of this same sheet and glue a panel right there. A little bit smaller, that way you can have the solid color showing. Then to get that really pretty border on each side, look what she did. She went into this area. Let's see, let me flip it around. And let's see, let me just lay that out to show you. I'm going to flip this around. So remember, this is the part that was upside down. You can see right here She cut a strip to fit within this strip, starting right here. And then for her other piece, she just went up a little bit higher and cut that piece. So she's just using that area. Very, very clever. The whole thing is clever, I think. Now, the especially for you, that is out of the cutouts. This is, of course, using the 12 by 12. That's glued right smack dab in the middle. Then for the right here on this panel, the thank you and that oval, they're both from one of the die cut sheets. So there's the oval and there's the thank you that's been foam taped on top. Now right here you have the cutting die used to make the flowers and the sprays that's just accenting that front corner. And again, this is going to collapse in and that's going to collapse over. And by the way, this will fit in our 10 envelopes package, so you don't have to worry about struggling to find something that will fit inside it. And Debbie did, in fact, all of the cutting dies that she used in this collection, she used these ink pads just to accent the colors. So you can see the violet was used here, the tiger orange was used right there, and the khaki, of course, was used on the greenery. So that was just really nice. So this might be a card idea that you might want to make note of, because I think this will come in handy many times. Okay, now she did another one next, and this too is a card that is made out of the cardstock. And this is an easel card, so it's going to open and be just like that. So these are the die cut flowers that have been popped onto the art, and they are also down on the card base. So let me show you how this was done. And so she took a piece of the solid cardstock, in this case it was the purple one. It's 12 inches by 5 inches. Placed it down and measured from the left and went in 3 inches, did a score line, 6 inches and did a score line. Now that 6-inch one is going to let you fold this in half. I'm doing now. And then you're going to take the 3-inch one, and that's going to be to create your gatefold. So just like that. So the sheet that she used, well, it is this one. So she's got purple on the front of the card, and on the back side she has that kind of orchid color. And what she did is to cover that panel in front. Now she just used one sheet, and it is this sheet. Now, remember the one that has the greenery at the bottom and then the all over leaves? That's what she used right there. And that does a nice job of playing with the purple, don't you think? Now this sheet is right here. It's one of the large cutouts, and it is right here. You can see that gold border. Oops, there you go. Now you can see the gold border. And she just cut that out. Now she did elect to mat it on the same purple, and that worked nicely. And what you do with this is you're going to glue the bottom of it to the bottom of the card. Of course, that way you're going to allow that to fold up. Before she was finished, she did some more things, and one of them was to add the I am grateful for you. And that's one of the cutouts, which she foam taped right smack dab in the middle, right there. And then, as I said, she's used the solids to, with the cutting die. And you can see there's little flowers, there are bigger flowers, so you've got just a huge variety, and multiple butterflies too. And all of those solid papers are going to work quite nicely. Now, on the inside of this card, isn't that pretty? So you get to see that color. She used this sheet. And once again, she is using the back side, the ghosted side. Now we'll use this on the that first card, and put that down, trimmed it smaller than the card, and added more of the cutting die butterflies and flowers, just popping them on top just to add a little bit more brighter color. And then You Are Marvelous. Well, that too is one of the die cuts. She simply foam taped it, a couple of layers of foam tape, because she wanted to make sure that she had a stopper to hold that easel. And I like how the flowers just flow from the card top into the inside. Just works really nicely. Okay, this too will fit into our 10 envelopes package. So again, even though you're making your own card base, you have envelopes for it. So that's nice. Okay, we've got another card. In fact, we've got 4 cards. And let me show you this. Now, this is going onto that sheet. Remember, that was that big heart. And so, however, she didn't make her card, but she did cover her card. So step 1 was to cover her 5 by 6.5 inch card with blue solid cardstock. Now this has light blue on the back side, but she used the darker blue on the front. So she simply put glue on the edge of her card, put that blue cardstock on, and then trimmed it to fit. And then she used the corner rounder. Now this has 3 measurements that you can do to make rounded corners. And they have letters and numbers on them. So there's an R4, an R7, and an R10. And all you're going to do is just slip the corner of your paper in, press down. And you'll notice that she did that on all 4 corners. Now maybe it would be easier for you to see that if I had a white background. So let me make that happen for you. Okay, so there you go. That dark blue against the black kind of blended together, didn't it? So we just curve all 4 corners, and that's going to work nicely. Now, she also did some other things. So here is that great big heart, and she used, you can see that she chose this area to place onto her card. Now, you're going to cut it to be a little bit smaller than your 5 by 6.5 inch card, but then round the corners, just the same way you did a moment ago. Now, in here, she has taken one of the die cuts, and let me show it to you. This is sending a sunshine hello, and then she matted it, but cutting an oval freehand is pretty close to impossible. So what she used are the 10 oval and scallop dies. So simply taking the next one that would mat this, and this time it's a scallop, she put that onto the pink plaid, you remember seeing that, and then onto the blue, which is covering her card. And then do you see all those flashes of color? Well, that's a couple of dazzles, as you can imagine. And one of them is the pink jewel dazzle. And you can see that they are all in the scallops. Now the butterflies come from this package, and this is butterfly stickers with 3 colors. And it has purple, but it also has pink. Get the package open for you. So it has purple, it has gold, and it has pink. And the butterfly is a fun technique, and let me see if I can demonstrate that for you. So you want to use, well, I always use the large butterflies, but Debbie, clever woman that she is, used the large ones and then also used a small one. So I do want you to see what the end result is. So can you see how that butterfly is standing up? Well, it takes 3 butterflies to do that. So let me just quickly show you. There are multiple sizes of butterflies on here, but there's also multiple shapes. So you want to get 3 butterflies that are the same shape. And I'm going to pull this one. I'll rest it there on that finger. And I'll pull this one and let it rest next to it. And then this is the one that I'll start with. And these are the glittery pink, and they have a silver foiling on the edge. So we're going to get as close as Jeanette can. And I'm going to take, oh, very good. I'm going to take this, isn't that sparkly? And I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in the middle. And then I'm going to take another butterfly and I'm going to fold it in the middle. And then I'm going to put these two wings together. And because they are adhesive, that's going to happen. Now, that's going to be one side of my butterfly. Then I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to let the left wing attach to, no, it's the right wing is going to attach to the left wing of my main butterfly, like so. So what happens is the two parts that are sticking to my fingers is the part that's going to go down on the paper. And then that's going to allow this butterfly to do exactly what it's doing right now, which is to flutter. So now I'm going to have to get this butterfly off my fingers. And I'll set it onto the package. So there it is onto my purple. Boy, that's a lot of brightness in one image, isn't it? But that's what she did. It's super easy. And you're just folding them and sticking them together. So one big butterfly here, another big one, and then the next smaller one right there, done the same way. Now we're going to go to the inside of the card. And on the inside of the card, she just went down on that same paper and had another section of it, rounded the corners after she cut it to trim to fit, and then the happy birthday, well, that is part of the cutouts. So remember, we used this earlier. Well, right now we're using the happy birthday, and that's just going to get glued right here. And you know, there's something I forgot to tell you about, but right here there is a border. You see how it's right underneath the die cut before it was matted? Well, that border is on this sheet. So we used this piece before, but there are two borders right under it. And Debbie just trimmed that border, straight line, and glued it underneath her sunshine. So that worked nicely. Okay, one last card. The woman's very busy. Okay, here is our last card. And in this card, Debbie has used the 6x6 papers and the chipboard, which I love. And so what she did was to, because a 6x6 piece will not completely cover her 6.5-inch card, so you can tell that this is the piece that she's going to use over here, but she used the back side of it, clever woman, because you get 4 of each, and just trimmed a piece. About 1/2 inch, you know, you could make it longer if you wanted to. And so put that piece down and then glue this piece just right on top, trim the excess, and you are good to go. Doesn't that do a nice job? In fact, when I first saw this, I was thinking, well, where did she get that border? Was that on the die cut piece or the cutout piece? But it's not. It's right here on the paper itself. So less work for you to have to do. So what she has done is on this really pretty floral kind of border planting, she put larger pieces. And this comes from the chipboard. And here is the chipboard, and you can see here are the poppies right here. And I just want to point out the detail that is etched into the laser for us. And you can see right there on the poppies beautifully. So instead of just an outline of a popper circle, you have those center pieces, you have the petals. And when you color them, as Debbie has done, it just looks has so much detail. So those poppies are together. So you're going to be using a green marker as well as orange. And then she's got some lilacs going there. I think that's what they are. A cone flower, let's see, is right here. And even just that bit of etching on the petals and on the leaves just makes it so realistic. And another one, she does have butterflies, of course, or butterfly, I guess, singular. And so that is going on top of the art. And it just works so nicely because the artwork really just fills in that garden behind these chipboard pieces. And you're just going to glue them flat down. Now the hello and that piece is out of the die cut. So there's the base of it. The hello is right there. That's been foam taped on top. And then to add just a little bit more, she used the thin line dazzles. This is the colorful edition, which has got 10 sheets in 10 different colors. Obviously red wasn't used, the blue was used. And then on the inside, this is the back of a sheet, and you can see, and there is another of the die cuts. Your kindness is a blessing. That is another of the die cuts. And also, I am so grateful is another one of them. So all three of those, these two are glued. This is foam taped on top and just finishes it. Now, if you wanted to, you could take some of these and maybe put one on the inside. That would be pretty too. Lots of options. Okay, well, you are getting just a taste of what you can do with this collection. So let me bring each of them back. So we have the solid watercolor wildflowers, and look at all of those colors. We have the 12 by 12 pattern. We have the die cuts, which you've seen a lot of. And you have the 6 by 6, of course, with the 108 of the cutouts. You have the cutting dies with 21 of them. That's really nice. And the chipboard. And I think that Hot Off the Press is the only one that is doing chipboard, certainly chipboard like this. So it's just quite special. Now, speaking of special, we have a money saver for you. Of course, it's on the right-hand side of our screen. But if you are signed up as a VIP, now what that means is that the system will calculate how much you spend, and when you hit $500 over 12 months, you will become a VIP. And that means that every month you will get 6 sheets of the newest release, and that will be sent to you the first of the month. So that's always a fun thing to see. But we do have something else for you, and that is a subscription. Now, if you would like this whole collection, maybe except for the cutting dies, we call that I Want It All. And you will get a 20% reduction in the cost of it, and it will be sent to you before this webisode, so that when you receive these, as you know, every single one has ideas on the back of it, so you are ready to go because you've got the whole collection. And that's really fun. Now, should you really want to have the entire collection, now that's including the cutting dies, we call that I Really Want It All. You see the difference? I want it all and I really want it all. Same deal, 20% off. Same thing, you're going to receive it before the webisode, and that way you have a chance to play with this and just see exactly what you want. Both of those are over on the right-hand side of your screen. To sign up for the VIP, you do that at checkout, and that's all you have to do. Okay, if you are watching this on YouTube, that's great. We welcome you, and we would love it if you would subscribe. That way it boosts our ratings. Then head on over to paperwishes.com, because that's the only place on the planet that you will be able to get this product. It is exclusively at Paper Wishes, and we invite you to come on over. There you can see a close-up of each of the cards down below. Just click on it. There are not written directions, but hopefully I've given you enough information that you could recreate these. And so that will take care of all of those bits and pieces. So this is certainly bright and refreshing collection, very fun for as we enter the summer months. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank Debbie especially for creating some really fun and some really different things. That's just a joy to share with you. And I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.